I woke before dawn. The forest was still. Rain had stopped, but clouds hung heavy and gray. I made coffee on the small stove and sat by the window. Only silence moved with me. For 5 years, that silence was my friend. It kept my heart quiet. It kept the memories of fire away. People in town called me the ghost of these woods. Maybe they were right. I hardly went to town anymore. Too many faces, too many questions. They looked at me with pity. I didn't need pity. I needed peace. Bear, my old dog, lifted his head. He growled once and then whined. I frowned. Easy, boy. It's just the wind. But he kept staring at the door. Then I heard it, a knock. Soft at first, then harder. No one came here, not at night. My stomach turned. I opened the door a little. Cold air rushed in. A woman stood there, drenched from the rain. 3 children clung to her skirt. Their faces were white with fear. Please, she said, her voice shaking. We need help. I hesitated. You lost your way? Our cart broke, she said. We walked for hours. The boy has a fever. The smallest child whimpered. Bear barked once but didn't move. I looked at the sky. Still dark. The road to town was 10 miles. I sighed. Come in. They stepped inside, dripping water on the floor. The woman hugged the youngest child tight. I'm sorry, she said. We didn't mean to bother you. It's fine, I said. Sit by the fire. The word fire hit me hard. I almost choked saying it, but I lit the small stove again. Heat filled the room slowly. The children huddled close. The woman looked around the cabin. Old wood walls, 1 table, 2 chairs, 1 bed. Nothing fancy, only what I needed. She smiled faintly. You live here alone? Yes. For how long? Long enough, I said. She didn't ask more. Her eyes were tired but kind. The boy coughed, a dry sound. Does he need a doctor? I asked. We had no money, she said. The landlord took everything. I frowned. Where were you going? Anywhere safe. I poured hot water into a cup. Drink this, I said. It will warm you, she nodded. Thank you, sir. Name's Thomas, I said. Clara, she whispered. These are Eli, Lily, and Noah. The children looked at me shyly. I tried to smile, but it felt strange on my face. I hadn't smiled in years. The rain started again, harder. Wind pressed against the window. I added wood to the stove. The room filled with golden light. Clara rubbed the children's hands. Their clothes were soaked. Let them change, I said. There's a blanket in the chest. She found it and wrapped them one by one. Noah, the smallest, crawled toward Bear. The dog sniffed him and wagged his tail. Clara gasped. He won't bite. I shook my head. He's too old for that. Noah laughed softly. He's warm. Hearing that laugh did something to me. It felt like a spark inside my chest. A sound I hadn't heard since my boy. Clara saw my face. You all right? Yeah, I said, just tired. She nodded. We can go when the rain stops. Stay the night, I said before thinking. Her eyes widened. We don't want to trouble you. It's fine. Roads are mud now. You'll get lost. She hesitated, then whispered, Thank you. I made soup from what I had. Dried meat, potatoes, salt. They ate quietly. Eli, the oldest, watched me like a guard dog. You don't talk much, he said. Not much to say, I replied. Ma says talking helps the heart. Maybe, I said. Sometimes silence helps more. He studied me, then nodded. You sound like Pastor John, he said. I chuckled. Is that good or bad? Good, he said. He's nice. The storm raged outside. Thunder rolled over the hills. Inside, the only light came from the stove. Clara tucked the children near it and turned to me. You live here since... Before? Before what? I asked. She looked around. Before you became alone. Her words cut deep. I stared at the flames. Yes, I'm sorry, she said. I didn't answer. The sound of rain filled the silence between us. After a while, she spoke again. We had a small house once. My husband worked the field. Then one day he fell ill. The landlord raised rent. We sold everything. When he died, I promised the children I'd keep them safe. But I failed, I said quietly. You kept them alive. That's not failing. She looked up surprised. You think so? I know so. She smiled, tired but warm. Something eased in my chest. Eli yawned. Ma, can we sleep? Yes, love. She turned to me. Is there space? I pointed to the bed. Take it. And you? I'll sit by the fire. She shook her head. You need rest too. I'm used to the chair. Clara helped the children lie down. Bear curled near them like a guard. I sat back and listened to the storm fade. Clara whispered, "Thank you again, Thomas." I nodded. "It's nothing." "It's not nothing," she said. "You opened your door." I looked at the flames. Once I hadn't opened a door fast enough. The fire had taken my family. I could still hear their voices when the wind blew. I said softly, "Sometimes mercy starts small." "What do you mean?" "Just one act," I said. "One choice." She looked thoughtful. "Then maybe tonight is mercy for both of us." Her words stayed with me. The rain stopped. Only the drip from the roof remained. The cabin smelled of smoke and soup. I felt peace for the first time in years. Then I heard Noah mumble in sleep. He whispered, "Papa." Clara's eyes filled with tears. I turned away, pretending not to see. She said quietly, "He dreams of his father." "I understand," I said. "You lost someone too?" "My wife, my boy." She closed her eyes. "I'm sorry. Long time ago," I said. "But the nights still burn." She touched the edge of the table, her fingers trembling. "I don't know how to make the pain stop." "You don't," I said. "You learn to walk with it." She nodded slowly. "That sounds hard." "It is," I said. "But you keep going." The wind calmed. The forest breathed again. I stood and placed another log in the stove. Clara watched me. "You must have loved them very much." "I still do," I said. She gave a small smile. "Then they never really left." I didn't reply. I couldn't. Her words hit too deep. After a while, she whispered, "We'll leave in the morning." "You can stay one more day," I said. "Roads will be bad till noon." She hesitated. "Are you sure?" "Yes," I said. "You'll be safe here." She smiled faintly. "You're kind, Thomas." "Not kind," I said. "Just tired of ghosts." She didn't understand, but she nodded. We sat in quiet for a long time. The clock ticked, slow and steady. Finally, she said, "Good night." "Good night, Clara." She lay down beside the children. Their breathing filled the cabin. I stared at the window at the dark forest beyond. Bear lifted his head once and sighed. "Sleep," I whispered. "We're not alone tonight." The word felt strange on my tongue. Not alone. I'd forgotten how that sounded. I leaned back in the chair. The fire cracked softly. I watched the light dance on the wooden walls. For the first time in years, the silence felt gentle. I closed my eyes. In the dark behind them, I saw my wife's face. She smiled like she used to. Then her voice came, faint and kind. "Keep your promise, Thomas." "Keep it." I opened my eyes again. The cabin was quiet. Clara slept near the children. The small boy's hand rested on Bear's fur. I whispered to the fire, "I kept it tonight, Mary." The flames answered with a soft crack. Outside, the forest sighed in peace, and in that small sound I felt my heart beat again. The night passed slow. The rain kept falling on the roof. The sound felt like a whisper, telling me to stay awake. I sat near the fire, watching the woman and her children sleep on the floor. Her name, Clara. She said it softly before she closed her eyes. Her voice stayed in my head all night. The boy, Eli, held his little brother close. The girl, Lily, slept beside them, her small hand under her mother's arm. Their faces looked tired, pale, and peaceful. I hadn't seen peace in years. When morning came, the rain stopped. The air smelled of wet wood and smoke. I poured water into a pot and boiled it for tea. My dog Bear wagged his tail beside me. He kept staring at the kids, confused but calm. Clara woke first. Her eyes met mine. "Good morning," she said quietly. I nodded. "You sleep well?" She smiled a little. "Better than I expected. Thank you for letting us stay." "You were soaked," I said. "No one should sleep in the cold." She looked around my cabin. "You live alone here?" "Yes," I said. "It's quiet." "That's how I like it." Her eyes dropped to the floor. "Quiet can be kind, or it can hurt." I didn't answer. She looked toward the window, then back at me. "My children. They'll be hungry soon," she said softly. "We didn't eat much yesterday." I got up and opened the small pantry. "I don't have much, but I can cook something." "You don't need to," she said quickly. "We'll go soon." "Eat first," I said. "Then go." She tried to speak again, but stopped when Eli woke up. "Ma," he said, rubbing his eyes. "Where are we?" "In the Woodsman's house," she whispered. "He helped us last night." The boy looked at me, cautious. "Thank you, sir," I nodded. "You can call me Thomas." He didn't smile. "We won't be trouble." "I know," I said. "Sit, there's tea." Lily woke next. She stretched and looked around with wide eyes. It's warm here. I gave her a small piece of bread. Eat slow, I said. Thank you, she whispered. The youngest, Noah, woke last. He ran straight to the dog. Bear sniffed him, then let the boy touch his head. Noah laughed. The sound was small but pure. Clara's eyes filled with tears. He hasn't laughed in weeks. I turned back to the fire. He should laugh every day. Eli spoke again. We'll leave after breakfast. We don't want to take your things. You didn't take anything, I said. You can stay another night if you need. Clara looked at me surprised. You don't even know us. I don't need to, I said. You needed help. That's enough. She said nothing for a while. Then she whispered, You remind me of my father. He always helped strangers. I'm not that kind, I said quickly. She gave a sad smile. You are. We ate in silence. The fire cracked. The rain had stopped, but the world outside looked gray and wet. After we ate, I went out to chop wood. I needed to move, to think. The axe hit the log again and again. I heard voices behind me. The children laughed as they chased each other around the yard. It felt strange. My cabin had not heard laughter in years. Clara walked toward me. She stood a few feet away, her hands folded. You work hard, she said. It keeps my mind quiet, I replied. Do you live here all year? Yes, I said. Winter too. She looked around. It's peaceful here, no noise. No men shouting. Men shouting, I asked. She hesitated. My husband. He used to drink. After he died, his landlord came for money. I couldn't pay. He said he'd wait. He didn't. What happened? I asked. Her eyes filled again. He burned our house. Everything we owned. I stopped chopping. He burned it? Yes, she said. While we were inside, we ran out with nothing. Not even shoes. The anger rose inside me like heat. What kind of man does that? The kind who thinks poor people don't matter, she said. I dropped the axe. You have no one else? She shook her head. No one. I was walking to the next town. Someone said there might be work at the mill. That's a long walk, I said. I didn't have a choice. I stared at her, then at the children. You can stay here until you find work. She looked shocked. I can't ask that. You already gave us food and a bed. You didn't ask, I said. I offered. She stepped closer. Why? I don't know, I said. Maybe because I used to have a family too. Her eyes softened. Used to? Yes, I said quietly. They're gone now. She didn't ask more. She just whispered, I'm sorry. We stood there for a while. The wind moved through the trees. The smell of wet pine filled the air. Eli came running up. Mr. Thomas, your dog found something. What is it? I asked. A rabbit, I think. Good, I said. Dinner then, Lily frowned. Poor rabbit, I smiled a little. We thank it first. That's what my wife used to say. Clara looked at me with gentle eyes. She sounds kind. She was, I said. She loved this place more than I do. Clara nodded. Maybe that's why you stayed. Maybe, I said. Or maybe I didn't know where else to go. She smiled. We're the same then. The day passed quietly. I fixed the broken fence. Eli helped me, learning fast. Lily picked flowers near the stream. Noah followed Bear everywhere. By evening, the cabin felt alive. The smell of stew filled the air. Clara hummed softly while stirring the pot. I sat near the fire listening. She looked at me. Do you mind if I cook? I don't mind, I said. Smells better than mine. She laughed for the first time. The sound surprised me. It sounded like light through clouds. When we ate, Noah fell asleep at the table. Lily leaned on her mother's arm. Eli tried to stay awake, but his eyes closed. You should sleep too, I said. I will, she said. But first, thank you. For what? For not asking too many questions. For letting us breathe. I looked at the sleeping children. They remind me of peace. I forgot what that looked like. She smiled faintly. You'll remember again. I wanted to believe her. Later, when the cabin grew quiet, I sat outside on the steps. The night was clear now. The stars looked sharp through the cold air. Clara came out, wrapping a blanket around her shoulders. You can see every star here, she said. Yes, I said. No smoke, no noise. She sat beside me. You ever get lonely? All the time, I said. But I got used to it. You don't have to, she said softly. I looked at her. What do you mean? You helped us, she said. Maybe we can help you too. I shook my head. I don't need help. Everyone needs help, she said. Even strong men. Her words cut deeper than I expected. I didn't answer. I just looked at the stars again. She spoke after a long silence. Eli said he wants to learn how to chop wood. Maybe you can teach him. I can, I said. He's got strong hands. She smiled. He tries to be the man of the house, but he's still a boy. That's good, I said. Boys should stay boys as long as they can. She looked at me. And men? Men try to forget they were ever boys, I said. She laughed softly. Maybe you can remember again. I stared at her face in the moonlight. There was something calm about her, something brave. The night turned colder. She stood. I'll go check on them, I nodded. Good night, Clara, she paused. Good night, Thomas. When she went inside, I sat alone for a while. The stars moved slow across the sky. My heart felt heavy, but not in the same way. It was a good weight, one that reminded me I was still alive. I looked at the cabin through the window. The light from the fire danced on the walls. The children slept near the hearth. Clara sat beside them, her hand on Noah's hair. I whispered to myself, maybe one more day. The wind passed through the trees, soft as a breath. For the first time in years, the night didn't feel empty. Tomorrow, I told myself, they could stay just one more day. The sound of laughter woke me. For a moment, I didn't know where I was. Then I heard little feet running across the wooden floor. Careful, Clara said. Don't break his things. I opened my eyes. Morning light came through the small window. The smell of bread and wood smoke filled the room. For the first time in years, my cabin didn't sound empty. Eli stood near the door, holding a piece of firewood. Lily sat by the stove, feeding Bear a crust of bread. Noah laughed so hard he fell on his back. I sat up. You're up early. Clara turned, smiling a little. They couldn't sleep. Too much excitement, Eli said. I rubbed my eyes. You sure it's excitement, not hunger? Clara sighed. Both, maybe. I got up and went to the stove. I'll make something. You don't have to, she said. I want to, I answered. I can't eat alone anymore. The children watched while I cooked. I dropped flour into the pan and added water. Simple bread, like I used to make for my boy. Your dog is nice, Lily said. Bear wagged his tail, lying beside her. He likes gentle people, I said. Then he likes Mama, Noah said proudly. Clara smiled, brushing his hair. He likes anyone who feeds him, they laughed. I smiled but looked away. Their laughter felt like sunlight on old wood, warm but painful. When the bread was done, I set it on the table. Eat slow, I said. It's hot. Thank you, Clara whispered. We ate in quiet. The children ate fast, crumbs everywhere. I pretended not to see. For years I'd eaten alone, counting bites like time. Now the sound of chewing felt holy. After breakfast, I stepped outside. The forest was wet from last night's rain. Mist floated between the pines. I breathed in the cold air. It smelled like memory. Clara came out, wrapping a shawl around her shoulders. You live so far from town, she said. That's the point, I answered. She looked at the trees. It's beautiful. It's quiet, I said. Sometimes too quiet. Silence can be peace, she said. Or punishment, I muttered. She looked at me but said nothing. Eli called from inside. Mama, look. He held up a wooden carving from the shelf. A small horse burned on one side. Put that down, I said sharply. He froze. Clara stepped in. It's all right, he didn't mean... I shook my head. Just leave it, please. Eli set it down carefully. Sorry, sir. It's fine, I said softer. That toy belonged to my son. Silence fell again. Clara touched my arm. I didn't know. You couldn't, I said. I don't talk about it, she nodded. Sometimes it hurts to speak. Sometimes it hurts more to stay quiet, I said. We went back inside. The children were playing by the fire. I sat in my chair, staring at the toy horse. The firelight danced on its broken side. Lily climbed onto Bear's back, giggling. He's like a big rug. Bear huffed but stayed still. Even he seemed happier. Clara sat near the stove, sewing a torn sleeve. She looked peaceful, her hands steady. You sew well, I said. Learned because I had to, she replied. That's how we all learn, I said. She smiled faintly. What did you learn from the woods? To listen, I said. To what? To everything that doesn't speak. She looked at me oddly. That sounds lonely. It is, I said. But it keeps me alive. Evening came fast. The sky turned orange behind the trees. I brought in more wood. Eli helped me carry the last log. You used to have a boy? He asked. Yes. What happened? The fire took him, I said quietly. He stopped walking. I'm sorry. It's all right, I said. It was a long time ago. He nodded, but his eyes looked sad. You saved us last night, he said. Maybe that means God wanted you to try again. I didn't know what to answer. I just put the wood down and said, Go help your sisters. After supper, we sat near the fire. Clara poured tea into small cups. The children leaned against her, sleepy. Tell us a story, Noah said. Clara looked at me. Do you know any? I thought for a moment. Maybe one. They waited. I took a deep breath. There was once a man who built a house in the forest. He thought he would live there forever. But one night, the wind took his roof. The fire took his family. He thought God forgot him, so he stopped speaking to anyone. Noah's eyes were wide. Was that man you? I smiled sadly. Maybe. What happened next? Lily asked. One day 3 children came to his door, I said. They brought light back into the house. Clara's eyes glistened. That's a good story, she whispered. It's not finished yet, I said. Outside, wind hit the walls. Inside, the fire cracked and glowed. Bear moved closer to the warmth. Clara spoke softly. Do you ever dream of them? My wife and son? I asked. Yes. Every night, I said. And every morning I wake alone. She stared into the fire. I dream of my husband too, but his face fades each year. That's mercy, I said. Or punishment, she replied, echoing my words from earlier. I looked at her, surprised. She smiled faintly. Maybe both, I said. The children slept beside the hearth. Eli's hand rested on his sister's shoulder. Lily held Noah's small hand. Their faces were calm. Clara whispered, Thank you for letting us stay. It's nothing, I said. It's everything. She replied. Her voice trembled. No one helped us before. I didn't know what to say. I only nodded and stared into the fire. Flames moved like ghosts. In their light, I saw faces I missed. Mary, our boy, their laughter. For years, I had spoken to shadows. Now real people filled my house again. Clara broke the silence. Your wife. She was kind? She was light, I said. Too kind for this world. And your son? He loved the rain. Said it cleaned the sky. Tears burned my eyes. I turned away, but she saw. She touched my hand gently. You don't have to hide. I pulled my hand back. I'm fine. You're not, she said softly. But that's all right. Her kindness hurt more than pain. It opened something I'd locked away. I failed them. I whispered. How? I went to town for medicine. When I came back, I stopped. The words choked me. The fire was already there. I heard them scream. Clara closed her eyes. She didn't speak. She just moved closer and placed her hand on my arm. I'm sorry, she said. I nodded. Sorry doesn't change ashes. No, she said. But it changes hearts. Her words stayed between us like the flame, small, alive. Bear lifted his head and rested it on her lap. She stroked his fur slowly. He sighed, the way animals do when they trust. That's strange, I said. He never does that. He knows, she whispered. He feels peace here. I looked around my cabin, the fire, the children, her soft face in the glow. Peace. The word felt foreign but sweet. I'm afraid, I said. Of what? Of losing this again. She turned toward me. Then hold it while you can. The fire burned lower. The room filled with quiet breathing. Outside, the wind died. Only the crackle of wood remained. I leaned back in my chair. The warmth touched my face. For the first time since the fire years ago, I didn't feel cold, Clara whispered. Good night, Thomas. Good night, I said. As I closed my eyes, I heard Noah mumble in his sleep. Pa, don't let the fire go out. My heart stopped for a second. He called me Pa. I looked at him. Small hand holding Lily's sleeve. Tears filled my eyes again, but they didn't hurt this time. Clara met my gaze. She had heard it too. We said nothing. Words would break the moment. I added one more log to the fire. Flames rose, soft and golden. Their light touched every face in the room. I sat back and whispered to the night, I won't let it go out again. The morning felt strange. The forest was too quiet. Even the birds held their breath. I was cutting wood behind the cabin when I heard hooves on the path. At first, I thought it was Pastor John again. But when I looked up, I saw a man in a black coat riding a big gray horse. Dust followed him like a shadow, Clara came out of the cabin, her face pale. "It's him," she whispered. "Who?" I asked. "Henry Blackwood," she said softly. "My landlord." The name felt heavy in the air. I dropped the axe and wiped my hands. He stopped his horse right by the gate, looking around with disgust. "So this is where you've been hiding?" Clara froze. "Mr. Blackwood, please," he cut her off. "You think you can just run away from debt?" I stepped forward. "That's enough. You're on my land now." He looked at me like I was dirt. "And who might you be?" "Thomas Reed," I said. "The owner of this cabin," he smirked. "Ah, the famous Woodsman. Heard you live with ghosts." My hands tightened. "You should leave." "I will," he said, "after she pays what she owes." Clara shook her head. "I told you I'll pay when I can." "Please, Henry, just give me time." He leaned forward on the saddle. "Time is money, and you have neither." "Stop talking to her like that," I said. He turned his cold eyes toward me. "Are you her savior now, Mr. Reed?" I said nothing. The wind carried the smell of pine and dust. "I asked you a question," he pressed. "I don't need to save anyone," I said quietly. "But I don't let people bully women on my land." He laughed, loud, cruel. "Do you even know who you're dealing with?" "I own half the town." "Then you've got enough," I said. "You don't need her pain too." He smiled thinly. "Everyone pays what they owe, Woodsman." "One way or another," Clara's voice trembled. "I'm not refusing, Henry, I have children." "Then maybe you shouldn't have run," he said coldly. "You left your rent unpaid for months." "You owe me for damages too." "There was nothing left to rent," she cried. "You burned it down," he shrugged. "Accidents happen." I took a step closer. "You did that?" He looked at me calmly. "It's business." She signed the papers. "She knew the risk. You burned her home for a few coins." "It was my property," he said flatly. "I can do what I please." I felt my chest tighten. The air seemed to vibrate around me. "Get off my land," I said. He tilted his head. "And if I don't?" "Then I'll make you," I said. He smiled again, cold and slow. "You think you scare me?" "I've dealt with bigger men than you." "Maybe," I said, but none who had a reason." He chuckled, but his eyes darkened. "You've got fire, Woodsman. Maybe that's why your house burned down." I froze. My throat closed. "What did you say?" He smirked. "Everyone knows the story. You lost your wife and son, didn't you? Shame. Couldn't even save your own family," Clara gasped. "Henry, stop!" I didn't move. My hands were shaking, but I kept my voice low. "You say one more word about them, and you'll regret it." He leaned back. There it is, the anger. I wondered when I'd see it. I took a deep breath. "You have 5 seconds to leave." He dismounted slowly, boots hitting the dirt. "Or what?" I stepped forward. "Or I stopped being polite." He laughed loud again. "You're nothing but a broken old man in the woods." "Maybe," I said, "but I'm not afraid of you." We stared at each other. Even the trees seemed to hold still. Then he spat on the ground. "Fine, but you'll see me again." "The law is on my side, maybe," I said. "But God isn't." He climbed back on his horse. "You can't protect what's not yours, Reed. Remember that." He pulled the reins and rode off, his coat snapping in the wind. Clara sank to her knees, shaking. "Oh, God, he'll come back. He always does." I knelt beside her. "Not here." "Not again." She looked up at me, eyes wet. "You shouldn't have done that." "He'll ruin you too." I shook my head. "He already tried." She frowned. "What do you mean?" "Never mind," I said softly. "Just rest now." The children came running from behind the cabin. Eli looked scared. "Who was that man?" "Someone who forgot his manners," I said. "Will he hurt us?" Lily asked. I forced a smile. "Not while I'm here," Clara whispered. "You can't fight him alone." "I've been alone long enough," I said. She sighed. "You don't know what he's like." "I saw enough," I said. "He'll get his turn." Eli stood beside me. "Can I help if he comes back?" I looked at him, the courage in his small shoulders. "You can help your mother instead. That's the stronger thing." He nodded slowly. I stood up and looked down the road where Henry had gone. The dust was still hanging in the air like smoke. Later that evening, Clara and I sat by the fire. The children were asleep. The room smelled of soup and pine. She broke the silence first. "You shouldn't have spoken to him like that." "I couldn't stay quiet," I said. "He'll make you pay," she said. "He always does." "Then I'll pay," I said. "But on my terms." She shook her head. "You don't owe me anything, Thomas." I stared into the flames. "Maybe I need to owe someone again." She looked at me softly. You think helping us will fix your pain? I smiled faintly. No, but it might make it useful. She reached across the table. You lost people. I can see it in your eyes, I nodded. My wife, my boy. A fire took them. I'm sorry, she whispered. Don't be, I said. I was the one who lit the lamp that night. I told myself I'd never hold a family again. Then you showed up. Her eyes glistened. We didn't mean to trouble you. You didn't, I said. You reminded me that life still knocks, even when you don't open the door. She smiled weakly. And will you open it now? I looked at the flames again. Maybe I already did. The next morning I went into town. I hadn't been there in months. People stared like they'd seen a ghost. Pastor John found me outside the general store. Thomas Reed, he said. Didn't think I'd see you walking Main Street again. I needed supplies, I said. He looked serious. I heard about Henry Blackwood visiting your place. Word travels fast, I said. He's dangerous, John said. He owns the sheriff, the judge, half the town. You can't win against him. I'm not trying to win, I said. I'm trying to live, he sighed. You always were stubborn, I smiled faintly. And you always worried too much. Listen to me, he said. That woman and her kids, they'll bring trouble. They already brought light, I said quietly. He studied my face for a moment. You've changed. Maybe I'm just tired of being a ghost, I said. He nodded slowly. Then be careful, Thomas. Some ghosts don't like the living. When I got back to the cabin, Clara was outside hanging clothes. The children were helping. The air smelled clean and alive. She smiled when she saw me. You went to town? Yes, I said. We'll have enough food for weeks. Her eyes softened. Thank you, I shrugged. You can help me chop wood later to pay me back. She laughed, the first real laugh I'd heard from her. You drive a hard bargain. Fair trade, I said. For a moment, everything felt peaceful again. Then Eli shouted from the path, Someone's coming. I turned. A rider in black appeared far down the road, dust rising again. Clara's face went white. It's him! I felt my jaw tighten. Let him come, she grabbed my arm. Thomas, please. Don't fight him. I'm not fighting, I said. I'm standing. He stopped at the same place as before, but this time he didn't speak right away. I stepped forward. You got lost again? He smiled. Just checking on my property. This isn't yours, I said. He looked past me at Clara. Maybe not yet. I blocked his view. You come here again and I'll take it as a threat. He laughed. Threats from a man who hides in trees. I stepped closer. No, from a man who's done being afraid. He stared at me for a long time. Then he turned his horse. You'll regret this. Maybe, I said, but not tonight. He rode off again, slower this time. Clara exhaled shakily. Why do you do this for us? I looked at her, the fear, the courage. Because I need to feel something other than pain. She nodded slowly. Then maybe we're helping each other. The sun dipped low, painting the trees gold. The cabin glowed in its light. I stood there watching the road until the dust finally disappeared. For the first time in years, I felt something burning inside. Not anger, not grief. Just life. The morning light touched the cabin walls. I opened my eyes to the sound of soft laughter outside. It was strange. I hadn't heard laughter here in years. For a moment, I just listened. Then I stood, stretched, and stepped onto the porch. Lily and Noah were chasing each other through the yard. Eli sat near the woodpile, holding my old axe. He looked proud but unsure. Clara stood nearby, hanging wet clothes on the line. The air smelled of pine and sunlight. Morning, I said. Clara turned, smiling a little. You sleep well? I did, I said. Better than most nights. She nodded. The children let you rest. That's good. Eli lifted the axe. Can I try, Mr. Thomas? I walked closer. Careful with that blade, I said. It's heavy, he straightened. I can do it. I'm strong. I looked at him, his hands too small for the handle, but his eyes full of courage. All right, I said. Let's start slow. Watch me first. I took the axe, set the wood, and swung. The log split clean in half. Eli's eyes widened. Now you, I said. He copied my stance, bit his lip, and tried. The axe stuck halfway. He frowned. Don't fight it, I told him. Let the weight do the work. He tried again, this time slower. The log cracked. He grinned. Clara clapped softly. Well done, Eli. Eli looked proud. Did you see that, Ma? I did, she said. Your father would be proud. Her words caught the air. The smile faded from her lips. I felt it too, the quiet pain in her voice. I said gently, he'd be proud of all of you. She nodded, eyes down. Maybe. Lily ran to me. Can I help too? You can, I said. But no axes for you yet. You can gather the smaller sticks. She smiled and ran off with Noah. Their laughter echoed through the trees. I looked at Clara. They remind me of what I lost. I know, she said. But they also remind you what still can be. That line stayed in my chest for the rest of the day. By noon, we fixed the roof. Clara handed me nails while I hammered each plank. Hold it steady, I said. I am, she laughed. You're just too fast. You ever fix a roof before? I asked. Never, she said. But I've learned a lot since meeting you. What's that? I asked. She smiled. That peace can be loud. It's in every sound here. The birds, the wind, even your hammer. I chuckled. That's a new one. Loud peace. She grinned. You'll see. We worked until sweat covered our foreheads. When the last board was nailed, I sat back, breath heavy. Clara wiped her face with her sleeve. It's not perfect, she said. It doesn't have to be, I said. It just needs to hold. She nodded. Like people. I looked at her, surprised. She met my eyes for a second, then looked away. I wanted to say something, but words stuck inside me. Later that afternoon, we sat by the fire. The children roasted potatoes on sticks. Noah burned his first one and laughed so hard he fell over. You're supposed to eat it, not destroy it, I said. He giggled. It's crunchy, Clara laughed, the sound soft and warm. He takes after you now, she teased. I smiled. Poor kid. Eli sat close, watching the flames. Mr. Thomas, do you ever miss your family? The question hit me deep. I looked at the fire and said quietly, every day. What happened to them? Lily asked softly. Clara whispered, Lily. It's all right, I said. They died in a fire. Our house burned one winter night. I tried to save them, but I couldn't. The children fell silent. Even the fire seemed to slow. Eli looked down. I'm sorry. It's all right, I said. That was long ago, but I still remember the sound, the fire, the smell, the silence after. Clara placed her hand on mine. You don't have to carry it alone anymore. Her touch was gentle. My chest tightened. I looked away. I've carried it for so long. I don't know how not to. She said quietly, then maybe let someone help. I didn't answer. But inside, something broke, in a good way. The next days passed easy. I taught Eli how to build a fence. Lily helped me plant beans near the porch. Noah fed the chickens every morning. Every evening, we sat outside together. The sunset painted the sky in orange and pink. Clara would hum old songs while mending clothes. It felt like a dream I never wanted to end. Feels like home again, I said one night. It is home, Clara replied. For all of us. I smiled. You really think so? Yes, she said. The children sleep without fear now. That means something. Her words warmed me, but deep down I feared how fragile it all was. One morning, Pastor John came riding through the forest. His horse stopped by my gate. Thomas, he said, stepping down. You've been hard to find. I smiled faintly. I prefer quiet. He looked around the yard. The tools, the clothesline, the laughter inside. So I see, he said. You've built quite the life here. Not life, I said. Just repairs. He raised an eyebrow. And the widow? She and her children needed a place, I said. Nothing more. Nothing more? He asked gently. I didn't answer. He walked closer. You've been given a second chance, Thomas. Be careful with it. I frowned. People are talking, aren't they? He sighed. They always do. Some think you've forgotten God's path. I looked toward the cabin. I haven't forgotten. I just walk slower now. He nodded. Then walk with faith, not guilt. Before he left, he said softly, "The heart heals best in light, not in hiding." When he rode off, I stood there for a long time, staring at the trees. His words stayed in my head like a whisper I didn't want to hear. That evening, Clara noticed my silence. "The pastor came?" she asked. "He did," I said. "What did he say?" "That people talk." She sighed. "Let them. We know the truth." "Do we?" I asked. She looked at me, confused. "Of course. We've done nothing wrong." I nodded. "But the world doesn't care about truth. It only cares about stories." She placed a hand on my arm. "Then we'll write our own story." I looked at her. Really looked. The firelight touched her face, soft and golden. For the first time, I realized how much peace she brought into my broken home. "You ever get tired?" I asked. "All the time," she said with a smile. "But then I see the children laugh, and it's enough." I nodded. "You have more faith than I ever did," she said. "Faith isn't about church walls. It's about holding on when everything falls apart." Her words sank deep. I whispered, "Then maybe I'm learning again." She smiled. "Good, because we're all still learning." Later that night, after the children slept, I sat outside alone. The forest was quiet except for the wind. The stars hung low, silver and soft. I thought of the pastor's warning. I thought of my wife's face, the one I lost. And then I thought of Clara's smile, her calm voice, her gentle hands. I spoke softly into the dark. "Mary, if you can hear me, I hope you don't hate me for finding peace again." The wind moved the leaves like a whisper. I closed my eyes. When I opened them, I saw Clara standing by the doorway. She didn't speak, just looked at me. Then she said, "You don't have to whisper to the past, Thomas. It already forgave you." I didn't answer. I couldn't. My throat closed with emotion. She stepped closer, placed a blanket around my shoulders and said, "Come inside. It's cold." I nodded. "In a minute." She smiled softly and went back in. I stayed there, staring at the stars, my heart both heavy and full. The pastor's words returned. "Walk with faith, not guilt." I whispered, "I'm trying." Then I stood, looked toward the cabin glowing with warm light, and finally walked inside, toward laughter, toward family, toward something I never thought I'd find again. I woke to the smell of smoke. At first I thought it was a dream. Then I heard the scream, "Fire! Mr. Thomas!" Eli's voice tore the night. I jumped out of bed, heart pounding. The air burned my throat. The red light outside the window flickered like hell itself. "Clara!" I shouted. She ran in, hair loose, face white. "The barn. It's burning!" I grabbed my boots and ran outside. The cold night wind met the heat. Flames climbed the wooden roof like snakes. The horses screamed. The goats kicked against their stalls. I smelled burning hay, fear, and smoke. "Get the children out!" I yelled. "They're outside!" she cried. Eli ran to help. My stomach dropped. "Where?" She pointed. "Inside." I didn't think. I ran, smoke hit my face. My eyes burned. I could barely see. "Eli!" I shouted. "Where are you?" "Here." His small voice came through the smoke. I followed it, coughing, stumbling. The heat hit my arms, my chest, my soul. "Eli!" I shouted again. "I can't move," he screamed. The beam fell. I found him near the back. His leg was pinned under a piece of wood. The flames roared above him, cracking loud like thunder. "Hold on!" I said, dropping to my knees. He coughed. "I tried to save the horse." "You fool," I said, half crying. "You brave fool." I pushed the beam. It didn't move. I tried again. My hand slipped, skin tearing. "Thomas!" Clara's voice came from outside. "Come out." "Not yet," I shouted. The fire spread faster. The roof creaked. Sparks fell on my back. I took a deep breath. "Eli, when I say go, you crawl." He nodded, tears mixing with soot. 1, 2, 3. I lifted with everything I had. Pain ripped through my arms, but the beam moved just enough. "Go!" I yelled. He crawled free, limping. I grabbed him and ran. The roof crashed behind us as we burst through the door. The fire swallowed the barn in a scream of wood and light. We fell into the cold mud. Clara ran to us, pulling Eli into her arms. "My boy," she cried. "Are you hurt?" He coughed hard. "I'm okay." I sat there shaking, unable to breathe. My lungs burned. My hands bled. My ears rang. The children huddled together near the fence. Lily cried. Noah held her hand. "The animals?" Clara asked. I looked back at the flames. "Gone," I said. She covered her mouth. Oh, God. We watched the fire eat everything. The roof fell, the walls groaned, and the smell of ash filled the night. No one spoke. Only the crackling sound of death. I heard my dog, Bear, whine softly beside me. He was covered in ash, but alive. I put my hand on his head. "Good boy," I whispered. The children cried softly. Clara hugged them close. I stared at the fire, and in the glow I saw another night. Years ago, my old home burning, my wife screaming, my boy trapped. My breath broke. My knees shook. "Thomas?" Clara's voice was soft. "You're pale." I didn't answer. I was lost in the memory. The heat, the screams, the smell. "Thomas, look at me." I turned to her, eyes wet. "It's happening again." "No," she said firmly. "It's not, my boy," I whispered. "I couldn't save him." She touched my shoulder. "You saved Eli. You did it this time." Tears came fast. Years of silence cracked like glass. "I promised my wife," I said. "I promised I'd protect them." Clara nodded. "You did." "You kept your promise tonight." I shook my head. "But the animals, lives can't all be saved," she said softly. "You did what mattered." I looked at her face through the smoke and light. She was strong, calm, even as the fire danced behind her. "How do you stay so strong?" I asked. She smiled faintly. "I already lost everything once. Fear doesn't scare me anymore." Her words hit deep. I stared at the ashes rising into the night sky. The children came closer. Eli limped but stood tall. "I'm sorry, Mr. Thomas," he said. "It was my fault." I shook my head. "No, son. You tried to help. That's courage." He looked down. "I thought I could save them." I knelt and put a hand on his shoulder. "You did save something. Yourself. And me." He blinked fast, fighting tears. "Will you be mad?" I smiled weakly. "No, I'm proud." Clara watched us, her eyes full of something soft. Gratitude, maybe, or love. The fire burned low now. Only glowing wood and smoke remained. The sky turned gray before dawn. "We lost our food," Clara said quietly. "And the tools," I nodded. "We'll start again," she sighed. "Always starting again." I met her eyes. "That's life." She smiled a little. "You sound like a preacher." "I sound like a man who refuses to die." She laughed softly, a sound that cut through the silence. The children leaned against each other, half asleep. I looked at them. 3 small lives depending on me. I stood. "Come on, inside. The fire's done its worst." Clara hesitated. "You should rest." "I will," I said. After they sleep, we went into the cabin. The smell of smoke followed us. I built a small fire in the hearth, this one warm, gentle, safe. Lily spoke softly. "Mr. Thomas?" "Yes, sweetheart." "Are we safe now?" I looked at her tired face. "Yes, you're safe." She smiled and closed her eyes beside her mother. I sat near the window. The orange glow outside faded. My body ached. My mind spun. Clara came beside me. "You should sleep too." "I can't," I said. "Not yet." She sat down. "You blame yourself." I stared at the floor. "I always do." She touched my hand. "You're human. You love." "That's why it hurts." Her hand was warm, steady. For the first time, I didn't pull away. "You can't save everyone, Thomas," she said softly. "Sometimes love means letting go." I looked at her. "You sound like her." "Who?" "My wife." She smiled gently. "Then maybe she's still here." I felt my throat close. "Maybe." We sat there silent. The children's breathing filled the room. The fire cracked softly, peaceful this time. "I was so scared," I whispered. "I know," she said. "But you didn't run." "I wanted to." "But you didn't," she repeated. "That's courage." Her words sank deep. For years I'd seen myself as broken, a man who failed his family. But tonight, maybe I'd done one thing right. "I don't deserve this peace," I said. She shook her head. "No one earns peace. We make it." I nodded slowly. "Then we'll make it again." She smiled. "Together." The word hung in the air, soft, heavy, real. The firelight touched her face, and I saw how tired she was. Ash in her hair, soot on her cheek, eyes still bright. Go sleep, I said. You need it. She hesitated. And you? I'll stay here a while, I said. Watch the dawn. She looked at me for a moment, then touched my shoulder. Don't stay alone too long. I won't. When she left, I sat alone by the window. Outside, the first light of morning touched the ashes of the barn. Smoke curled like ghosts, fading slow. The land smelled of fire and rain. I closed my eyes. My hands still shook, but not from fear, from memory. In the quiet, I whispered to the woman I lost, Mary, I kept my promise. I saved them this time. For the first time in years, the words didn't hurt. They healed. Bear came close and lay his head on my knee. I stroked his fur and watched the sky turn gold. Behind me, Clara and the children slept, safe, breathing, alive. The fire outside had died. The fire inside me finally learned to rest. The morning started quiet. Cold wind moved through the trees. The smell of wet earth filled the air. I was fixing the fence when Bear barked from the porch. He never barked without reason. I turned and saw them. 3 men rode up the muddy road. Henry Blackwood led them, sitting high on his horse, a cruel smile on his face. "Morning, Reed," he called. "Still playing family with my tenant?" I wiped my hands on my jeans. "You should leave, Henry," he laughed. "You took what's mine. I came to take it back." Clara came out of the cabin, holding Noah's hand. Her face went pale. Eli stood beside her, fists tight. "Go inside," I said quietly. She didn't move. "Thomas, please, inside," I said again. My voice came out harder. She took the children in. The door closed softly. Henry climbed off his horse. "That woman owes me money," he said. "Her house burned. Her debt didn't. She owes you nothing," I said. He stepped closer. "You paying it then?" "If I have to," he smiled. "You always were a fool for lost causes." I felt my hands shake. "I'm not afraid of you." He looked around the yard. "Nice place you built. Be a shame if something happened." His men got down from their horses. One carried a hammer, another a torch. "Don't," I warned. Henry turned to them. "You heard him, boys." "Don't," he smirked. "Just make sure the barn doesn't stand taller than his pride." They started toward the barn. I stepped forward. "Stop," one of them pushed me. "Stay out of it, old man." I hit him back without thinking. The sound cracked in the air. He stumbled but didn't fall. Then everything broke loose. He swung. I ducked. His fist grazed my cheek. The other man grabbed my arm. I pushed back. We fell into the mud. My head hit the ground hard. Henry's voice cut through. "Enough!" They stepped back. He walked up, slow, calm. He looked down at me, then spat in the dirt. "You think you can fight the world, Reed? You can't even save your own." I tried to stand. My leg hurt, but I forced it. "This is my home," I said. "I'll die before I leave," he laughed. "Maybe you will," he nodded to his men. They kicked over a barrel of oil near the barn wall. I smelled it. Sharp, dangerous. "Don't do this," I said. Henry struck a match. "You took my property." "I'm taking yours," Clara screamed from the porch. "Stop! Please!" The match dropped. The oil caught fast. Fire ran along the boards like lightning. Flames rose, eating through wood and hay. The horses cried inside. I ran, ignoring the pain, pulled the gate open. The animals bolted out into the field. Smoke burned my eyes. Henry watched, smiling. "You'll learn, Reed. Some debts never die." I turned back to him. "Get out of here!" I shouted. He stepped closer. "You can't threaten me." I swung again. This time I hit him square on the jaw. He fell back into the mud, shocked. His men reached for me, but I yelled, "Try it and you'll follow him." They hesitated. Fire roared behind me. Henry wiped his mouth, blood on his chin. "This isn't over," he hissed. He mounted his horse. The others followed. Their hooves pounded down the road, fading into the trees. I fell to my knees. My breath came ragged. Smoke drifted around me. Clara ran to me, eyes wide. "Thomas, you're bleeding." "I'm fine," I said, though everything hurt. She touched my face, then my shoulder. "You're not fine." "Sit still." I looked at the burning barn. "The animals are safe." "That's enough." Tears filled her eyes. "He'll come back." "Let him," I said. "We'll be ready." She helped me inside. I could barely walk. My head throbbed. The children watched from the corner, silent. Eli spoke first. "Why do they hate us?" I sat down. Because some men forget what kindness means. Lily held Noah's hand. Will they burn our house? Not if I can stop them, I said. Clara knelt beside me with a wet cloth. You should rest. I can't, I said. If he comes back, please, she whispered. You've done enough today. I looked at her face, pale from fear, strong from love. I promised to keep you safe, and you did, she said. But now let me help you. She cleaned the cuts on my arm. Her hands trembled. The fire outside crackled low as the roof caved in. I'm sorry, I said. For what? For bringing this on you. She shook her head. No, he would have found us anywhere. Her voice broke. I thought I was done running. You don't have to run anymore, I said. She met my eyes. Thomas, he'll kill you if you stay, I smiled weakly. Then I'll make it worth his while. She frowned. That's not courage. That's pain talking. Maybe both, I said. She sighed and tied a bandage around my arm. You're stubborn. So are you. We both laughed quietly, though it hurt. Outside, the rain started to fall again. Steam rose from the ashes. The fire died slow, hissing like a beast put to sleep. Eli came closer. Can I help? Sit with your mother, I said. That helps enough. He nodded, but his eyes stayed on me. I saw something there. Respect, maybe fear. I leaned back in the chair. The room felt smaller, warmer. Bear lay at my feet, tail twitching. Clara placed a blanket over my shoulders. You need rest, she said again. I will, I said. After I fix the fence tomorrow, she looked shocked. Tomorrow? We still have animals. The place still stands. Life doesn't stop because a man tried to scare us. Her eyes softened. You sound like my husband used to. I'm sorry, I said quickly. She smiled faintly. Don't be. He was brave too. I didn't answer. My chest felt tight, full of words I couldn't say. After a long silence, she spoke again. We can leave if you want. We'll find another town. I can work. The children can help. I looked toward the sleeping kids. Lily's head rested on Noah's shoulder. Eli leaned against the wall, eyes half closed. No, I said quietly. We stay. This is our home. Clara stared at me. Home? Yes, I said. It's where we stand together. She didn't reply, just nodded. Tears filled her eyes again, but this time they weren't from fear. She reached out and took my hand. Then we stay. Her touch felt warm, steady. I wanted to tell her what that meant to me, but words failed. The rain kept falling. The sound on the roof was soft, steady, almost kind. For the first time in years, I didn't feel alone. I felt tired, broken, but not empty. Clara looked at the window. The barn's gone. We'll build another, I said. With what money? She asked, half smiling. I grinned. With our hands. That's worth more. She laughed softly. You always have an answer. Only when I believe it, I said. She turned to look at me fully. Then believe this, you saved us today. I shook my head. You saved me first. We sat there, the fire low, our shadows long on the wall. The children slept. The house was quiet. Outside, the rain washed away the smell of smoke. Clara whispered, Thank you. I closed my eyes. For what? For fighting when I couldn't. I didn't fight for pride, I said. I fought for peace. She nodded. Then maybe peace will come. I wanted to believe her. The night grew darker, but somehow softer. The flames were gone, yet the warmth remained. Before I drifted into sleep, I thought of Mary, my late wife. In my heart, I heard her voice again, faint and gentle. You did right this time. I smiled, pain fading. We stayed, and for the first time, the word home felt real again. The night started calm. The wind moved soft through the trees. I sat by the fire, sharpening my old axe. Clara was washing the dishes. The children were asleep in the small room. The dog Bear slept near the door. Then the sound changed. The wind hit harder. The windows shook. Clara looked up. That storm's getting close, she said. I nodded. We'll be fine. The roof's strong. Lightning flashed across the window. For a second, the woods outside looked white and alive. Then darkness again. I'll check the barn, I said. She frowned. Now? It's pouring. I need to make sure the animals are safe. I grabbed my coat and went out. The rain hit my face like stones. I ran fast, my boots sinking in the mud. The sky roared. Inside the barn, the horses moved. Restless. Easy, boys, I said softly. Easy. The roof creaked, but it held. I touched each horse's mane and felt the warmth. That warmth was life. When I got back to the house, Clara stood by the door holding a lantern. Her hair was wet. You shouldn't have gone, she said. I had to, I said. They count on me, she sighed. You always say that. I hung my coat and sat down. The firelight flickered on the walls. Thunder rolled far away, deep like an old drum. We stayed quiet for a while. Then I saw her staring at the shelf near the window. What is it? I asked. There's a box up there, she said. Old and dusty. I looked up. That box has been there for years. She stepped on a chair and reached for it. Maybe it should be opened. I felt a strange fear. It's nothing important, I said, but she pulled it down anyway. The box was small, made of dark wood. She brushed off the dust. Feels like it's hiding something. Clara, I started but stopped. The way she held it, gentle but curious, reminded me of my wife. She sat by the fire, opened the lid, and gasped softly. Letters, she whispered. I closed my eyes. I knew those letters. She took one out carefully. Thomas, she said, looking at me. Whose are these? My wife's, I said. Mary wrote them before the fire. Clara lowered her eyes. Do you want me to stop? I shook my head slowly. No, read one. Her voice was quiet at first. My dear Thomas, I hope you forgive yourself someday. Lightning flashed again, filling the room with white light. She went on. You work too hard. You worry too much. Promise me one thing. Don't die alone. My chest tightened. I felt the air leave my lungs. Clara's voice broke. She loved you deeply. I stared at the flames. She did. And I failed her. Clara looked up. You didn't fail. You lived. I wasn't living, I said. I was hiding. She folded the letter and held it to her chest. You kept her word safe all these years. I laughed bitterly. No, I buried them, like I buried everything else. The wind howled through the cracks in the window. Rain hit the roof hard, fast, angry. Clara moved closer to the fire. She said not to die alone, she whispered. And you didn't. We're here. Her words hit deep. I looked at her face, calm but wet with tears. Why did you open that box? I asked. She looked at me, eyes soft. Because I felt it calling. Calling? Yes, she said. Like something unfinished. I rubbed my hands together. Maybe it was. The thunder grew louder. The fire hissed. I added wood, but the flames fought to live. The children stirred inside the small room. I heard Noah cry out in fear. Clara stood. I'll check them. She went to the room and came back holding Noah in her arms. His little hands clung to her neck. It's all right, she whispered to him. Just thunder. He looked at me. Mr. Thomas, are we safe? I smiled weakly. We're home, Noah. We're safe. He nodded, half asleep, and rested against his mother. She kissed his head. Go back to bed, baby. She laid him down, then came back to sit near me again. You see? She said softly. You made this house safe. For now, I said. Storms always come back. She gave me a small smile. Then we faced them together. Lightning filled the room again. And for a second, I saw her reflection in the window. Strong, beautiful, unbroken. I used to think storms were punishment, I said. For what? She asked. For living when they didn't, I said. She touched my hand. It's not punishment. It's life reminding you you're still here. Her hand was warm. Mine shook a little, I whispered. I kept that promise without knowing. What promise? To not die alone. She squeezed my hand gently. And you won't. The wind hit again, shaking the door. I got up and pushed a chair against it. Need help? She asked. No, I said. I can manage, but she came anyway, holding the lantern. Together we checked the windows, fixed the latch, closed the cracks. Rain poured down the glass like tears. When we finished, we sat again by the fire. She said, When I first came here, I thought you were cold. I was, I said. Frozen. And now? I looked at the fire. Now I feel something again. Maybe hope, she smiled. Hope's a good start. We stayed quiet. The only sound was the wind's cry and the fire's whisper. Then she spoke again. Tell me about her. I hesitated. Mary? Yes, if you want. She was quiet, I said. She loved simple things, baking bread, planting flowers. She always said the forest had a soul. She sounds kind, Clara said. She was, I said. Too kind. The night of the fire, she went back in for our son's toy horse. She didn't come out. Clara's eyes filled. I'm sorry, I nodded slowly. I never forgave myself. You couldn't have stopped her, she said. I should have been faster, I said. I should have gone in. She took a deep breath. Maybe she wanted you to live for both of you. The room fell silent again. Outside, thunder rolled softer now. The worst had passed. Clara looked at the letter again. She wrote about Faith, she said. Did you lose it after she died? I thought for a moment. I didn't lose it. I just stopped talking to God. And now? I still don't talk much, I said. But sometimes I listen, she smiled. Maybe that's enough. I stared at the letter in her hands. Keep it, I said. She looked surprised. Are you sure? Yes, I said. You found it. Maybe it was meant for you. She folded it carefully. Then I'll guard it. Good, I said softly. She'd like that. We both smiled, tired and quiet. The fire had burned low. The room glowed with soft orange light. I leaned back in my chair. You know, I said, storms used to scare me. Not anymore. No, I said. They remind me that nothing stays broken forever. Clara looked into the flames. You think we'll be all right? I know we will, I said. Because we already survived the worst. She leaned her head on my shoulder. Thank you for letting us stay. I looked at her. Thank you for giving me back my life. Rain still tapped on the roof, but gentle now. The storm was ending. She whispered, Tomorrow the air will smell clean. I nodded. And the world will look new. Her eyes closed slowly. The firelight danced on her face. I stayed awake, watching her breathe, listening to the night calm again. I thought of Mary, of the letter, of the promise. I kept it, I whispered to myself. I didn't die alone. The fire cracked once more, small sparks flying. Bear lifted his head, looked at me, then went back to sleep. I smiled at that. Even the dog knew peace tonight. Outside, the rain stopped. The clouds opened a little. Moonlight touched the window. The forest shimmered silver and wet. I stood and looked out. The world felt soft again, like it forgave me too. I turned back, saw Clara and the children sleeping safe. My heart was full and light. Thank you, Mary, I whispered, for sending them. The wind moved one last time through the trees, calm and gentle. I sat by the fire until dawn came, thinking of faith, love, and the quiet promise that kept me alive. And when the sun rose over the forest, I smiled and said, We made it. The night was too still. Even the wind felt afraid to move. I sat by the fire, sharpening my old knife, listening to the soft breathing of the children inside. Clara was sewing near the table. Her hands trembled each time thunder rolled outside. I said quietly, Storm's coming again. She nodded. I can feel it. The flames danced on her face. We'll be fine, I said, though my chest felt heavy. Then the dog, Bear, lifted his head and growled. What is it? Clara asked. I stood, heart pounding. Someone's out there. Before she could answer, I saw the flicker of light through the window. Not lightning. Fire. Stay with the children, I said, and grabbed the axe by the door. Thomas, please. I'll be back, I said, and stepped into the rain. The smell hit me first. Smoke and oil. I saw him near the barn, Henry Blackwood, holding a torch, face red with fury. Henry, I shouted. Stop this madness. He turned, eyes wild. You took everything from me. You did that yourself, I said. Go home before this ends bad. He laughed, voice breaking. You stole my tenant, my land, my name. I'll burn you like the rest. He threw the torch onto the barn roof. Flames jumped high, crackling like angry snakes. Damn you, I said and ran forward. Rain hit my face, but the fire roared stronger. I grabbed Henry by the coat. You'll kill us all. He swung at me, shouting. Better you than me. We fell into the mud, struggling. His fist hit my jaw. I tasted blood. I shoved him away, trying to stomp the fire, but the heat bit my skin. Behind me, I heard Clara scream, Thomas! Stay back! I shouted. The roof groaned. Sparks flew everywhere. The smoke was thick, black, alive. Henry crawled toward the flames, half mad. I'll end it, he said. I'll end everything! No! I grabbed his arm, but the wood above us cracked. Fire rained down. He screamed as his coat caught fire. I pulled hard, dragging him out through the mud. The smell of burning cloth filled the air. Help me, he cried. God, it hurts. I dropped the axe, tore off my jacket, and beat the fire on his chest. Hold still, he screamed again, choking. Why? Why help me? Because I won't let another man die in front of me, I shouted. He looked at me, eyes wide. You're a fool. Maybe, I said. But I won't be a killer. The barn roof collapsed behind us, a roar of flames and sparks. Clara ran to me, her hair soaked, face pale. "Are you hurt?" she cried. "I'm fine," I said, coughing. "Get water!" She ran back to the cabin. Eli followed with a bucket. We poured water over Henry's burned arms. He groaned, shaking. "Easy," I said. "You'll live." He looked at me, face twisted with pain. Why didn't you let me burn?" I stared at him. "Because fire already took enough from me." He tried to speak, but fell silent. We carried him inside. Clara laid him on a blanket near the door. The children stood huddled, eyes wide. Lily whispered, "Is he bad, Mama?" Clara answered softly, "He was. But now he's just hurt." I sat down beside Henry. He breathed hard, shallow. His eyes fluttered open again. "You think this makes us even?" he said. "I don't care about even," I said. "I just care about ending this." He coughed. "You're a better man than me." "No," I said. "Just a man who's tired of hate." He looked at the ceiling. "Tell her." "Tell Clara I'm sorry." Clara knelt beside him. "You tell me yourself." Henry's lips trembled. I was wrong," she nodded. "Yes, but you can rest now." He closed his eyes. The rain outside softened. The flames died to smoke. We sat in silence. The only sound was the rain on the roof. Eli came forward. "Is he?" I nodded. "He's gone." Clara covered her mouth, tears falling. "He destroyed everything. But still, he was human." "Yes," I said. "We all are." I walked outside. The barn was gone. Only ashes remained. The smell of smoke and wet earth filled my nose. My hands shook, but not from fear, from the weight of it all. Pastor John came riding up through the rain. He saw the wreck and stopped his horse. "Thomas, what happened?" "Henry tried again," I said. "But it ended different this time." John looked at the body inside. "You saved him?" "I tried." He took off his hat. "Then that's between you and God now." "I don't know if God still listens," I said quietly. "He listens to those who act with mercy," John said. "You did right," I nodded, but my heart felt empty. Inside, Clara sat by the fire. The children slept beside her, curled together like kittens. She looked up when I entered. "He's really gone, isn't he?" "Yes," I said. "He won't come back." Her eyes met mine. "I don't feel joy. I just feel tired." "Me too," I said, sitting beside her. She took my hand gently. "You saved the man who destroyed us." "That's who you are." I shook my head. "I just didn't want more death." She smiled sadly. "That's what makes you different." I looked at her hand in mine. Warm, real. I hadn't felt human warmth like that in years. She whispered, "What now?" I looked toward the window. The rain had stopped. The forest glowed faintly under the moonlight. "We rebuild," I said. "Again," she nodded. "Together?" "Yes, together." We sat there, hands still joined. The fire cracked softly, gentle now. The smell of smoke lingered, but it no longer felt like death, just memory. After a while, I stood. "I'll bury him tomorrow." "I'll help," she said. "No," I said. "You stay with the children." She looked up. "You shouldn't face it alone." I smiled a little. "I won't be alone." I glanced at Bear, lying near the door. "He'll keep me company." Clara nodded and leaned her head against the wall. I never thought peace could feel so sad. "Sometimes sadness is peace," I said. I went to the window. The stars were faint behind the clouds. The forest whispered softly. I thought of my wife, Mary. I spoke in my mind. "I did it, Mary. I stopped the fire this time." I closed my eyes. For the first time, I didn't see flames. I saw faces. Clara, Eli, Lily, Noah, life. Morning came pale and cold. I dug Henry's grave near the edge of the woods. Pastor John stood beside me, silent. When I was done, I placed a small stone above the mound. John said, "You did right by him." "Maybe," I said. "But it still hurts." He nodded. "That's how you know you're alive." I looked at the cabin in the distance. Smoke rose gently from the chimney. The children were awake now. I could hear their laughter through the trees. "She'll make you whole again." "Thomas," John said softly. "She already has," I said. He smiled and left. I walked back slowly, boots sinking in the wet earth. The world smelled clean after the storm. When I reached the porch, Clara waited with coffee in her hands. "Long night," she said. "Too long," I answered, taking the cup. She looked toward the forest. "Do you think it's over?" "Yes," I said. It's over, she sighed, eyes shining. Then maybe we can live now. We will, I said. She touched my arm gently. You're bleeding. I looked down. Small cuts, nothing deep. It's fine. I've had worse. Not in your heart, she said quietly. I didn't answer. I just looked at her. This woman who came into my loneliness and turned it into home. The children came running out. Noah shouted, Mr. Thomas! Look, the sun's back. I smiled. Yes, it is. He ran to hug my leg. Lily held Clara's hand. Eli stood back, proud but quiet. Breakfast's ready, Clara said. Come in. I followed them inside. The house smelled of bread and peace. As we sat down, I felt something new, not joy exactly, but the start of it. I whispered to myself, the fire's done. The past is done. Clara looked at me. What did you say? Nothing, I said softly. Just a prayer, she smiled. Then amen to that. The rain had washed the world clean. For the first time, I felt light. I looked at the children, at Clara, at the smoke curling gently above the fire. I thought, maybe the reckoning wasn't the fire. Maybe it was me finally forgiving. Outside, the forest whispered again, calm and alive. And in that silence, I finally understood what peace sounded like. I woke to birds and soft wind. The forest turned green again. The roof held firm after rain. The cabin smelled like bread and pine. I felt calm for the first time. Morning, Clara said from the stove. Coffee is ready. I heard the creek last night, I said. It sang, she smiled. The sound means peace and home. Eli rushed in with muddy boots. Morning, Pa, he said, then froze. I stared at him. My chest went tight. I meant Thomas, he said quickly. Sorry, I walked to him and touched his shoulder. It's fine, I said. You can say Pa. His eyes lifted with hope. Are you sure? I am, I said softly. If your heart wants it. Lily carried paper and colors. I drew us, she said. All 5 with Bear. I knelt and looked at the picture. We look brave, I said. I like the tree. That is the big oak, she said. It guards our home. Noah ran circles with the old dog. Bear likes my hat, he said. He keeps it. Clara poured coffee and laughed. Sit, she said. We eat before work. We sat at the table we built. The wood felt warm under my hands. The light came through the small window. It touched Clara's hair like gold. I baked sweet bread, she said. You helped yesterday. I only chopped wood, I said. You made the magic. She looked at me with shy eyes. We did it together. Eli ate fast and wiped his mouth. I can mend the fence, he said. I learned well. You did, I said. You kept your promise, he nodded. I keep promises now, Pa. I swallowed and tried to breathe slow. The word felt right inside me. Lily pushed the picture toward me. Can we hang this? Where do you want it? I asked. Over the fire, she said. So memory stays warm. I smiled. Good idea, I said. We will hang it tonight. Noah climbed my knee. Can we fish today? He asked. We can fish after chores, I said. I need help first. I help, he said. I am strong. Clara touched my arm. You look lighter today. I slept well, I said. The night held kindness. She nodded. Faith grew in this house. After breakfast, we stepped outside. The sun warmed the grass and path. The trees moved like slow dancers. The creek laughed over stones. Eli checked the fence line. 2 posts are weak, he said. We need nails. We saved a few, I said. Bring the box. We worked in quiet, steady rhythm. Boards lined straight and firm. Sweat ran, but my fear felt far away. Tell me about fear, he said. How did you carry it? I carried it alone, I said. It was heavy. Why alone? He asked. Why not ask help? I felt shame, I said. I failed my family. You did not fail us, he said. You saved us. I breathed deep and nodded. Thank you, son. He blinked hard and looked away. I will keep it safe. Near evening, Lily brought the picture. It needs a strong nail, she said. We have nails, I said. We will hang it high. We went inside as the sky dimmed. The fire waited with warm light. I hammered 1 clean nail above the mantel. Higher, Lily said. So everyone can see. I lifted it higher and hung the picture. 5 figures stood under a big green tree. A brown dog rested near the roots. A small blue river ran behind us. It is perfect, Clara whispered. It looks like a promise. What promise? I asked. That we keep this home, she said. Even in storm and night, I nodded. We kept it, I said. We choose it again. There was a knock on the door. My hands tightened. Old fear woke in my bones. "Easy," Clara said. "I am here." I opened the door. Henry Blackwood stood on the porch, thin and pale. Rain dotted his coat. "I came to speak," he said. "I owe words." "I listen," I said. "But not inside." He lowered his eyes. "I hurt you all," he said. "Greed led me. Fear kept me. What do you want now?" I asked. "Money?" "No," he said. "I want forgiveness. I live with shame." I felt the room behind me, warm and steady. I felt my family at my back. "You almost killed us," I said. "Twice." "I know," he said. I waked to fire and screams. "Go to Pastor John," I said. "Start there. Will you forgive me?" He asked. "Someday?" I looked at the years between us. I looked at the picture over the fire. "I will try," I said at last. "I will try with time." He nodded and walked into the rain. I closed the door and leaned against it. "What did he say?" Clara asked. "He asked for forgiveness," I said. I said I would try. She touched my hand. "Trying is enough for tonight." We gathered for dinner as rain began. The roof held and the room glowed. Eli passed bread to Lily and Noah. "To family," Eli said. "To home and peace." "To peace," Lily said. "To love and courage," Noah raised his cup. "To Pa," he said. I covered my face for a moment. Tears warmed my hands. Clara spoke softly. "Look at me, Thomas." I lowered my hands. "I am here. You are safe," she said. "We are safe together." I nodded and breathed slow. "I feel it now." We ate while the rain sang above us. The sound calmed my heart. The stew tasted like hope and memory. After dishes, we sat by the fire. Lily climbed onto my lap with a book. "Read, Pa," she said. "Read the bird story," I read with a steady voice. The children leaned close. Clara watched with soft eyes. When the story ended, silence filled the room. Not empty silence. Full, warm silence. "I want to say something," I said. "Listen, please." They turned toward me and waited. "I wasn't saving you," I said. "You were saving me." Clara took my hand. "We saved each other," she said. "That is family," Eli nodded. "We stand together now," Lily smiled. "We keep promises." Noah yawned and curled against Bear. "We dream safe." I stood and lifted the picture again. I pressed the nail deep. The frame sat firm, strong against the wall. "This is our sign," I said. "Home, faith, forgiveness." Clara stepped beside me and leaned close. "Say it again." "Home," I said. "Faith, forgiveness, peace." Rain slowed and turned to a soft drip. Night settled over the trees like a blanket. The fire burned low and steady. "We should sleep," Clara said. "Tomorrow needs strength." "I will check the doors," I said. Then I rest. I walked the small rooms and checked each latch. I touched the beds and felt their heat. I whispered a thanks to the quiet night. When I returned, Clara waited near the fire. "You look tired," she said. "Sit with me." I sat and held her hand. "I am tired and happy." "Good," she said. "You carried weight too long." I put it down. I said. "You helped me." She smiled. We helped each other. We listened to the last drops of rain. The ember glow painted her face with gold. My heart felt slow and strong. "Good night, love," she whispered. "Good night," I said. "Good night, my family." I stood, lifted Noah, and took him to bed. I tucked Lily in with her colored pens. I squeezed Eli's shoulder and turned out the lamp. In the doorway, I looked back at Clara. "Thank you," I said. "For what?" She asked. "For bread or for peace?" "For everything," I said. "For this life," she blew out the lamp. Darkness held us like kind arms. I could still see the picture in my mind. The big green tree, the dog, the 5 small figures. I lay down and closed my eyes. The forest breathed around the cabin. My fear rested. My faith woke. My love stayed. I whispered one last promise to the night. "I will keep this home. I will keep this family." Gently,